I've never seen the level of coping that I see around Doom the Dark Ages difficulty and specifically the sliders. And guys, we've just got to stop. We've got to be honest with ourselves. This game is slow and it's easy, and you know what? It's okay. It's still a fun game. It's not as good as Eternal. We just need to accept it. But what we shouldn't accept are the difficulty sliders, which are the most genius and lazy thing I've ever seen devs do, in a while at least. And the reason for that is they outsourced balancing and playtesting the game to us, the paying consumer. This is their job, is to balance and playtest the game, but now evidently we have to do it. And what's so brilliant about it is how Glazers use the idea of sliders. They don't actually use the sliders, but they have this idea of sliders, and they use it to cope. Whenever there's a mild criticism of the game, they say, dude, just adjust the sliders. The game is perfect. It's just your fault for not adjusting the sliders. And Iron Manning this argument, like I said before, we are still paying more than ever for a Doom game with the least amount of content, and they expect us to do the work of balancing and playtesting the game for them, which is ridiculous. I think id Software assumed that their longtime fans would eat up whatever Doom slop they gave them, and they wanted to appeal to the casual audience with a very easy and slow game, which by sales numbers turns out to be quite the miscalculation. But anyway, they built this slow game. They only balanced it around 100% speed. This has been confirmed in interviews. But they knew they were going to alienate a lot of their core audience, so they slapped in these sliders like a band-aid and said, you know what, we know some of you are not going to like this slow motion game, so here are some sliders, you can speed it up. The problem is that instead of balancing a faster game mode with the full kit of developer tools, it gives us a couple sliders, and they're totally insufficient. The primary example is the desire to speed up this game, which at 100% speed, which is the only speed it's balanced at, it is in slow motion. But when you artificially fast forward this game, which is what the speed slider is, things start to fall apart. The timings that were tuned for 100% fall off. You start having weird things happen, like you take damage when you get parried, you take damage when you block, you have bugs, like I have duplicates of a boss enemy when there should only be one. I get soft locked on geometry and have to quit the game because my character moves too fast for the geometry and he gets soft locked in some common area where it shouldn't happen. The game dialogue becomes horrible. It's sped up and overlaps over each other and you can't even listen to it. And also I experience a lot of game crashes when I speed the game up. The game feels really polished and tight, just slow at 100% speed. Where conversely, at 150% speed, it's exciting and engaging, but not necessarily fun because there's so many game-ending bugs that could happen at any time. This is just the nature of difficulty sliders and why we have to stop coping. And it's a real shame because one of the biggest thrills in this game is doing an Ultra Nightmare run at a very fast speed. But when you crank up the speed, as mentioned before, the game gets very buggy, and a lot of these bugs can be game-ending things that are unfair. And when it makes you restart your campaign from zero when you die, it ups the stakes, and it's definitely more fun when, there's something on the line. But when you get a bug or something that ends your game unfairly, it becomes very unfun and very unrewarding. And so I'm forced to play on Pandemonium with the speed increase because you still have some elevated stakes. It punishes you a little bit more if you die. But at least if there's some sort of BS bug, you don't have to restart the whole campaign. It's not that punishing. And, that's just a shame. The sliders are supposed to be this thing that lets anyone play however they want to. And they just run so poorly that I cannot play the game how I want to with sliders, very ironically. Another really interesting aspect of sliders, and I really do mean interesting, is there's this subversion of a shared experience between, the whole player base with this game. And bear with me for a second, but I noticed this most prominently in my own videos and my comments. I've noticed whether I praise this game or criticize it, and often the criticisms are mild too, by the way, or I'm just rage baiting and it's clearly not serious. Either way, either type of video I post, I get a very visceral reaction, and I just get hate comments. No one ever posts anything positive, and I don't care. I think that's funny. That's why I rage bait all the time. It's not a complaint. It's an observation. What I've noticed is there's a pattern with these comments, and it always wraps around the sliders and how there's this sort of paranoia that no one's really playing the game at a hard difficulty, or no one's playing the game the way that a commenter thinks they should. I will show gameplay at, default Nightmare settings, sometimes sped up Nightmare, and I'll have people coping over the speed in the comments saying there's no way that this is 100% Nightmare. Sometimes it's sped up to 120, 150 even. I've had people say, you know, your sliders aren't turned up, this game isn't fast enough. And what's funny is I get what they're saying. They're right, the game is slow. But if I said that the game is slow, these same people would come at my throat and say, no, it's not. You got to turn the sliders up. And it's this really interesting phenomenon where the fact that sliders as a concept exist allows them to like observe the same gameplay and come to a totally different conclusion based on what I say. And while we're on the subject, I just need to address this. There is something weird with the people commenting on my videos, on my Doom the Dark Ages videos specifically. And you know, I said before, there are people who will hate on my content on both sides. Obviously, when I praise the game, Doom Eternal fans whom I sympathize with will criticize the video, criticize the game. And what they say makes sense, and I get where they're coming from. When I criticize the Dark Ages, the people who comment and defend this game just, it seems like they haven't played the game, and they like outright lie about stuff all the time. And it's like lots of people will lie about the same thing, or they'll agree with each other. If you follow me, you know a great example of this is people lying about taking chip damage or getting damaged, your health damage that is, through your shield when you're blocking. And this is not something that's supposed to happen in the game. And when I outlined it, I got such a large volume of people lying, insisting, I say people, they might be bots, we'll get into that, but insisting that you're supposed to take chip damage, etc., if you miss a parry, or even if you're hard blocking, like hard holding down block, you definitely didn't even miss the parry. All sorts of instances they say you're supposed to take damage through your guard, and that is untrue. Tested by me, but the sheer volume of people lying about this made me question myself. I was like, man, maybe I'm wrong. I better go back and check this. And of course, it turned out I was right. But there's something strange. I've never seen that before, and it seems to happen when I hit certain keywords. Often, if the word slider, if the word speed, difficulty, easy, any of these words are in my video, a bunch of these like nonsense comments, like it seems like they aren't playing the game. It doesn't make sense what they're saying, like within the context of the video or even their own comment. They pop up, and I have to wonder if Microsoft, is part of their marketing spend, you know, paid for bots to come and respond to criticisms of the game. And they knew what the criticisms were going to be. They knew people were going to complain about it being easy and slow. And it's strange. It's a strange thing I've observed. That's just a theory about the bots, but it's my best explanation for what's going on here. And it's effective, whatever it is. It's a bunch of people lying and building consensus to the point where I had to go back and check and see if I was right about something I was certain about beforehand. So, you know, if I actually am playing the game and they're making me second guess myself, they're essentially deceiving people who are on the fence about buying the game, trying to make a decision. And I do have these people in my comments asking for an opinion of the game, and they're building this false consensus, not over whether, you know, one likes the game or not, that's one thing, but just lying about how the game works, the mechanics, or how the game runs. And that's immoral to me. I think that's an ethical thing, especially if they're bots, but you know, whatever. That's out of the scope of this video, and it's really not that deep. It's just a video game. This does, however, circle us back to the core theme of this video, which is that sliders are a lazy thing implemented by devs so they could gaslight us into accepting a game that is just not as well made for really no reason. They are more well-funded than they ever have been, and they're asking us for more money. And basically, it is a tool to gaslight us into accepting, a very overused word, but it calls for it here, into accepting slop. And if we create a demand for slop, they are going to continue giving it to us.